morning and welcome to a very cold and very windy Dartmoor, where I'm just about at sunrise time hoping to get some landscape photographs, always the most important part of any one of my videos. But I'm also going to be talking about gloves this morning as well, something I'm so glad I brought with me this morning. This morning's location is Rippon, a location I'm reasonably familiar with. Now, the reason I've come here this morning is because of the conditions, or at least the forecast conditions. It's actually supposed to be quite a lot of cloud. I thought there might be too much cloud, but there's barely any cloud about this morning. But it's going to give me good views. The sun's about to come up, and when it does and it puts light everywhere, I'll probably be in the best position I can be in. But also in this video, like I said at the top, I'm going to be talking about these new gloves that Vallerret has sent me. These are their Milfords. I've been using Vallerret gloves for years now. I was a backer of their original Kickstarter. I also got some of their mitts last year, which were really good. I took them to Iceland and they were blooming brilliant. I did a video for those last year. I'll stick a link up in the corner of the screen. So I will talk a little bit about what's different in these. But like I said in the intro, I'm going to do the most important thing, and that's take some landscape photographs. In fact, I better get the camera out. That's the sun just peeking up above the horizon. Right, let's get the first shot in the bag, because the weather conditions are actually changing. That cloud that was forecast is starting to come in, and I don't want to lose the light, because the light is going to be an important element in my first shot. So in the foreground, I've got these rocks, and there's a few stack of them. They've got all different shapes. Some of them have got angles, and some of them are rounded. And there's also the grass and that's quite undulating. Now, where I'm going to use the light here is to add contrast. So all these rocks are giving me depth in my image as they lead out into the distance there, but the light, that's what gives it the contrast, and it catches the side of the rocks and it catches the undulations of the ground, and it makes the scene really nice. I'm just going to use a graduated filter just to control the sky a little bit. I select my focus point and just tune my composition a little bit. Yeah, that's it. Check the histogram, focus, take the shot. I think that'll come out quite nicely. So I've repositioned myself for this next shot. I've come a little bit further along from the first shot, and what this has done is it's opened up the landscape a little bit. I've got a few less rocks in the foreground, and I've got more grass and more undulations, and there's some quite nice tufts of grass down here that are just catching the light. So it's a similar view, but it's a slightly different shot, and this is what I'd always recommend, that once you've got a shot, have a little move about a few meters to the left or to the right, because it can change your view quite considerably. I'll get this lined up. Again, still using the grad. That light is just catching there rather nicely. I'm going to take that shot. Wait for the timer. And what I'm also going to do is, because it's an interest, because I think that possibly there might be a bit too much grass, I'm going to the left, I'm going to take a vertical shot as well. Better adjust my grad, that would look a bit silly. Again, I get a bit more of that grass in the foreground, which is just catching the light. I'm not sure it works as well, but I always say, take both. Here we go. Hator in the distance. Timer. That's another couple of shots in the bag, hopefully. Hey, it's going quite well this morning so far. This next shot I've actually already taken, because the conditions are changing fast, as they typically do in Dartmoor. The wind is blowing the cloud in and losing the light already. But let me tell you about it anyway. It's this tufts of Dartmoor grass that we've got here, and what's happened is the light from the rising sun has just caught the top of that, and because of that golden colour, they really catch. And there's a circular formation of rocks around there, and then that leads you down off into Hator, one of my favourite subjects to photograph from afar. So it's a fairly simple composition, but I think it's quite effective. I'll take another shot just in case. having a look at that shot, the earlier shot's definitely better. I've come up to the top of the tor for this shot, but it's really windy this side. This is the side that's blowing all the weather in. So I'm not going to do much talking. I'm just going to, a nice simple shot. Bit of light catching the tor there, off out into the distance. The cloud is coming in and it's looking quite nice on the sky. Just going to take the shot. Timer, there we go. I'll just put that one up on the screen. Well, challenging conditions for sure. I got the best of the light first thing this morning. Fortunately, that cloud that was forecast to come in came in a little bit later, so I was able to get some hopefully pleasing shots. But my God, it's chilly up here. That wind is really cutting. I think the outside temperature was just above freezing, but I think the weather forecast said with the wind chill slightly below zero. So glad I had these gloves on. As I said at the beginning, I'm going to talk a little bit about these new gloves. I've got a bit of a history with Vallerret gloves. I think I said in the intro, I bought their original Kickstarter gloves. I also got those mitts that I got last winter. They've been really good. Took them to Iceland, like I said, and they were super warm. Really happy to have them. But Vallerret reached out to me and said, would you like to try a pair of our new gloves? And I said, do you have anything in the waterproof range? And they said, I tell you what, why don't you try these Milfords? Now, like I said, they have sent them out to me, but they haven't paid me to make this video, so I'll share with you my thoughts as I see them on these gloves. Let's talk about these gloves. These are the Milford gloves. Now, when Vallerret reached out to me, I said, one of the things that I'd like to try is, do you have a pair of waterproof gloves? Because one of the comments, or a few of the comments I got in my previous videos was, well, I need a waterproof pair of gloves. So actually, they wrote back to me and said, look, waterproofing. So we cover all our gloves in DWR, which is a durable water repellent thing. So, you know, they will repair most of the water, but by design, because most of these gloves all come with holes in them, you can't guarantee that they'll be waterproof. But they do try and make them weatherproof. So, you know, depending on the glove, they will repel most water. But the difference with these Milford gloves is a little secret that they've got. Just before I tell you the secret though, let me go over some of the basics of this glove. So if you're familiar with Vallerret gloves, real great thing about them is you can access your fingers. They've got these little peel back areas here, so you can access your digits, and they're held back by magnets depending on the glove. The difference with these ones is it actually gives you access to 3 fingers, so you can peel back 3 fingers on both hands, allowing you to access all your digits, which is quite handy. A little bit nippy this morning. These are a mild winter glove, but they're pretty good for most scenarios, I'd say. And you just tuck your fingers back in there and they're nice and warm. What else? Oh, the grippy pattern on the inside. Interestingly, this is a picture taken by one of their brand ambassadors of Milford Sound in New Zealand. That's where the glove gets its name from. So there's a little picture of Milford Sound there, which is really nice. So these are pretty weatherproof. They do keep your hands reasonably warm. Like I said, the temperature here probably around 0 up here in Dartmoor, and my hands have been perfectly warm. What else can I tell you about them? Oh yes, let's tell you about the little secret. Let's talk about this glove's secret feature then. So these are covered in their DWR repellent, so it's going to repel most water, light showers, that kind of stuff. But what if it's a torrential downpour? Well, in the little pocket up here, this little secret pocket, they've got a waterproof membrane, and you can slip that on over your glove like that. That goes over there nice. It's got a little elasticated thing there, so that goes nice and snug around your wrist. And then you've got a waterproof glove. Very handy. Obviously then you can't peel back your fingers, but you can still operate most of the features on your camera like that. So that should be very good for, you know, if you're walking from location to location, it's a torrential downpour, or you're just trying to take pictures in a torrential downpour. This is going to keep your hands nice and dry. So that's a really nice addition, and something good to see the range of gloves expanding for different scenarios, because let's face it, like bags and other clothing. You know, you need different items for different weather conditions. Last couple of things to mention about these gloves. The fingers, well, you can use those on your mobile phone or on the back of your camera if it's got a touchscreen, and it's also made from vegan friendly materials. Right, no glove is perfect, and neither are these. A couple of niggles I've got with this. So my main problem is the actual waterproof shell in here is actually quite difficult to get out its little pocket when you got gloves on. So what you kind of have to do is to take the glove off, take the shell out, then put it on. Equally, when you finish with the waterproof shell and you're trying to put it back in, it's much easier to do with the glove off. Now my concern with that is obviously you're going to expose your hands to the cold, but if you don't do it properly, or it's a very windy day like this, there's a good chance that could catch the wind and it's off and you're chasing your membrane about, worse if you're on the mountain. So what I would like to see Vallerret do is maybe have some sort of small leash that attaches to the glove, so they are separate but they're kind of joined together so they're not going to disappear. So that's my only niggle about that. But other than that, yeah, I'm pretty happy with these. Well, I hope you enjoyed learning about these new Vallerret gloves. I'm really happy with them. Like I say, I'm glad I've actually got more than one pair of gloves, different gloves for different conditions, and these are going to be great in the milder months or when it's out wet. I tend to go out photographing too much in the wet, but it's nice to know that waterproof lining is there. And like I say, it's great to see Vallerret expanding their range of gloves. Now, if you want to pick up a pair of these gloves or any of the gloves in the Vallerret range, I'll include a link for that in the video description below. Okay, we're coming to the end of this video. Really hope you've enjoyed it, learning about gloves. Get decent gloves, get decent outdoor clothing. I bought this jacket last year to go to Iceland and never regretted it. Spending so much money keeps me nice and warm and keeps me creative. There's nothing worse than being cold and being out with a camera. But I hope you've enjoyed having a little look about Dartmoor, some of the pictures that I've captured. If you've got a little bit more time, I'm going to pop up a playlist of some other landscape photography videos that I've done. Check those out. And I'll include a link for the video that I did last year for the mitts, the Vallerret mitts I did, so check that out as well. But until the next video, I shall see you then.